Helping us answer some questions tonight is Ivana Stradner. She's an expert on this region, a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and an advisor to the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Ivana, my understanding is current NATO members get to vote on applicants to NATO membership, and it has to be unanimous. If Turkey votes no on these countries, what happens?
Well, there will be then, a huge problem for both Sweden and Finland to join NATO. But I would be at this point patient and to wait for Turkey, because oftentimes Erdogan used such a rhetoric also as a bargaining chip with Europe. Something very similar what Orban in Hungary has been doing with NATO and with European Union for years. So we have to be also very cautious about their intentions behind this, and also they might also experience, if that's the fact, some retaliation also from other NATO member state, because stakes are very high at this point.
I hear you saying exercise some patience, although Ukraine was told to be patient, and now we see what's happened with them. Turkey's commitment, though, to the alliance, that's been questioned for years very publicly. Is there a chance that members would say, Turkey, you can see yourselves out, and we're actually going to replace you with Sweden and Finland if you don't want them?
Well, theoretically, everything is possible, but I doubt, at this point that they will kick out, Turkey from the alliance. As I mentioned, I really think at this point that Erdogan is using such rhetorics to rather negotiate with NATO member states and other European Union, other European countries, for things that he has in mind, for his own neighborhood and for his own economy and other diplomatic efforts.
Understood. And Russia's already signaling we're going to retaliate in some fashion if Finland and Sweden were to join NATO. And they share a significant border with Russia. What would that look like, retaliation?
So first, let me tell you really that this is an irony really of the Russian war in Ukraine, because when the war started, Russia claimed that the main reason for this intervention was to prevent actually NATO's enlargement, as Putin considered it to be an existential threat to Russia. Mm-hmm. And of course, this war had nothing to do with NATO enlargement, since it's a defensive alliance, but Russia used such rhetoric as a false flag, as the part of its disinformation campaign. And for many years, both Sweden and Finland maintained their military neutrality because they didn't want to, provoke Russia. But what we're seeing right now is what Russia considers to be a provocation. So as a result, the Russian government issued several threats. For example, the Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs recently stated that Finland's accession to NATO will cause serious damage to bilateral Russian and Finnish relations, and entering into NATO would also be a direct violations, of international legal obligations. Then they, threatened to deploy hypersonic missiles, and then Iskander. Then they claim, that they would actually have to strengthen land, naval, and air force in the Baltic Sea. All sorts of, different threats. But this is the part actually of Putin's playbook. Because Russia has a history of threatening NATO's enlargement.
I can't help but look at the map and wonder, if you are Ukraine seeing all this, does it kind of feel like an insult that Finland and Sweden get ushered past the velvet rope and you're still fending for yourself, not allowed to join NATO, and you've been begging to?
Absolutely. People in Ukraine, they are devastated how they are not, part of NATO. And it must be very difficult, at this moment for them, to defend themselves. However, I have to admit, even though they are not NATO member states, they receive lots of support. I don't think that the Ukrainians actually want our boots on the ground. What they need weapons, and they need intelligence. And that's exactly what the United States and our allies have been providing Ukraine with over the past few weeks.
Ivana Stradner, thank you for helping us understand what's happening right now in Eastern Europe and now the Nordic region. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.